This is why girls date jerks over nice guys.
It ain't a habit when you love someone. You act like you know how good.
I made a video recently called Stop Calling Girls Beautiful. And when I said girls, I was mainly talking about younger girls. Like, we shouldn't be instilling in our daughters that the only thing valuable about them is their beauty. I wasn't saying like never compliment females ever, and I made that really clear in the video. But there were a lot of guys who got really offended by that video and were ranting at me like on my Facebook, how they always get rejected by women, and all women only go for jerks, and they're such a great person, why can't they get a girlfriend? So I just kind of wanted to address some of that. Just because you're not getting into a relationship doesn't mean you're not an attractive person. I'm single right now. I've been rejected by guys before, and it's not something that I take and view it as a self-esteem thing, like there's something horribly wrong with me and I'm gonna be single my whole life. I think that when two people are really compatible in a relationship, that's really rare. And I think that it's better to be single for longer than to get into a relationship and be sort of compatible, but then break up and be heartbroken and so hurt and feel like you were intertwined with this person and now you've broken up. And so I think it's actually really good if you find out early on that someone doesn't want to be with you. And that doesn't say anything about who you are. It doesn't mean you're not an attractive person. It doesn't mean you're not a confident person. It doesn't mean you're not someone who can really pour a lot of inspiration and growth into someone's life. It just means that person doesn't particularly want to date you. I have best guy friends who are amazing people, who I respect immensely, who I love, and I just don't want to date them. And thinking that one of them would think that just because a girl doesn't want to be with them, that takes away from their value, that's crazy. Other people do not define your value. So if you're in that situation where you've been rejected recently, or you feel like a lot of people don't want to be with you, that has nothing to do with your appeal or your worth. It just means you haven't found a particular person who clicks with you so well. And I think that there's some people who have a personality that clicks with a ton of people, and then there's some people who have a personality that just clicks with a smaller amount of people. And it doesn't mean you're any lesser of a person just because you are less people's type. And when I say type, I'm not talking about appearance, I'm talking about personality and interests. And also, there's this tendency in American culture to overemphasize how important romantic relationships are. So I made a whole video on being happy when you're single. I feel so strongly about that video. I tend to focus so much on my friendships. I have a lot of really close friends who I share so much of myself with. I have a lot of things I'm passionate about. And so I don't ever feel like I need a relationship. And I hope that all of you can have the same mentality where you really don't need a relationship to be happy. That's not your end goal. That's not the purpose of life, is to find a relationship. I think the purpose of life is knowing God and flourishing, pouring into other people. So to the actual point of this video though, why women go for jerks. So most people, men and women, look for confidence in whoever they want to be with. And so guys who have a tendency of messing with girls or playing them or not being the most respectful, the reason that works is because they're very confident. They might not be the most attractive or interesting person, but they're very confident people who tend to reach out to you. And guys who make women feel special and valued and listen to them and make them feel understood and known, those types of guys sometimes can be jerks and cannot actually care, and it's all an act. But I've seen that tendency in guys who have played me before, or who I've interacted with, who haven't been the most respectful guys. And what they've done is they have made me feel very special. They've listened to me. They've had like locked eye contact and made me feel special just because we've had very in-depth conversations, and they're confident. And they're reaching out to me. That's all it comes down to. And so any guy can be like that, and you can be a very respectful guy and be just as confident. I think the issue is a lot more complicated than that though. Something I've noticed is that I think some girls who have been recently hurt in a relationship, they want something that's safe. And so sometimes they'll go for a guy who isn't taking it that seriously, who they can tell is just kind of playing them, just kind of in it for the fun, for the emotional thrill, maybe for something physical if they're not a Christian. And so some girls who might want a little confidence boost and might just want something small but not something they really care about, not something they want to commit to, they may actually opt for a guy who doesn't take them seriously just because they don't want to get hurt again, and they'd rather be with someone who they don't care about that much, who doesn't care about them that much, they're both kind of playing each other a little bit. They'd rather be with a guy like that than with someone who they're gonna have a really serious relationship with and who they could get really hurt by again. I sometimes have been in that category where I'm attracted to, or I'm attracting guys who just are not taking it that seriously, who are not jerks, not awful guys, but also not the most respectful. And I think the reason that we can go for guys like that is because we don't want to get hurt and we're really not ready for a serious relationship. And I have guys message me a lot about girls who will cut them off, and I'm reading the situation and it's like, you did nothing wrong. They wanted to be with you. It was just they were not at an emotional place to be in a relationship. It was like the girl's fault. She just didn't want to be in a relationship. She really liked him and then changed her mind because she had a breakup recently. It really hurt her. She's scared to be in love. And so if anyone is in an emotional place where they don't want to be in a relationship with you and they tell you that, it's really good you're figuring that out in the beginning phase rather than 3 months in and they realize, oh wait, I'm so scared to be in love. I want to get out of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to know from the very beginning. Breakups can be so awful. I made a really long video on healing from a breakup, so in depth, all of my advice, and I've been through a really awful breakup. And it can take years to heal from breakups. And so I think males and females who have been really hurt from relationships may act like jerks, not take it seriously, may cut you off after not knowing you for that long because they're really not ready to commit to a new relationship. They're not healed all the way. They're not ready to trust again. One final thing, since this was kind of inspired by the Don't Call Women Beautiful video. Please don't kill me. Oh my gosh. One more thing, since this video was inspired by the Don't Call Girls Beautiful video. Some guys have the idea that right when you meet someone, you should say, you look so beautiful. And personally, I don't like that. I think that comes on very strong, and the types of guys who you call jerks, who more people are attracted to, the reason people are attracted to those guys is because they're being very casual about it. And I think starting off being so intense, even if someone really likes you, can sometimes push people away because it's scary initially getting to know someone. And so start off by just becoming friends with someone and being chill about it and not being super affirming, complimentary, coming on so strong. Some people are really into that, but I'm just saying some people aren't if you keep having that experience. So just treat it as a friendship, get to know someone, talk to each other, treat them like a normal person, and I hope that that can get you into a relationship. I've made a lot of very in-depth videos about how to talk to a girl, what to talk about on a first date, so check out that whole playlist, advice for guys, if you need more advice. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!